There are moments in life when your heart feels heavier than your body. You wake up in the morning already tired, not just from lack of sleep, but from the quiet battles you're fighting inside. You look at your family and smile, but deep inside you carry a silent fear. Will your children turn out okay? Will your spouse ever understand the stress you're carrying? Will your prayers actually make a difference? Or are they just hopeful words lost in the wind? Life isn't loud all the time. Sometimes the loudest storms are the quiet ones raging inside our hearts. That silent ache for those you love who seem lost, distant, broken, or emotionally shut off, that ache is real. And the weight of intercession, the feeling that somehow it's up to you to hold everything together, can be exhausting. But I want to tell you something profound today. That heaviness, that deep concern you feel for your loved ones, it's not a burden you invented. It's a divine calling. God placed it in you not to crush you, but to awaken your heart to His purpose. You see, you are not just a parent, a sibling, a child, or a friend. You are a chosen intercessor, a beacon of hope in your household. Your prayers are not just spiritual duties. They are the front line of heavenly warfare. When you bow your head in your room, unseen by the world, the heavens pay attention. You worry about your loved ones even when they don't speak a word. You feel their storms even when they wear a smile. That's because God has allowed your heart to carry what they cannot yet carry for themselves. That's what love looks like. And even more, that's what spiritual authority feels like. He's using you as a vessel through which His compassion flows. And though you may not always see it with your physical eyes, something is happening behind the scenes. God is weaving redemption into your family story. That child who seems to have drifted, that spouse who seems emotionally distant, that parent whose heart is locked in bitterness, you may not have the key to their heart, but God does. He is working in the quiet, in the dark, in the places where even your words cannot reach. Your persistent, heartfelt prayers are not just routine. They are extraordinary weapons in the Spirit. They shake foundations. They pierce through pride. They bring light into the shadows. So do not grow weary in praying. Heaven is listening. And more than listening, He is moving. You may ask, but if He's moving, why do I still feel afraid? Why do things still look so unstable? Here's what you need to know. God's protection is real even when it's invisible. Just because you don't see an angel at your door doesn't mean one isn't standing there. Just because no miracle has blasted through your living room doesn't mean 1,000 small ones aren't already in motion. He has built a spiritual hedge around your household. Yes, around your home, around your children, your relationships, your peace of mind. He has not abandoned you to chaos. He has not left your loved ones to destruction. You may have had moments where you sensed His hand protecting you, a car accident avoided, a diagnosis reversed, a moment of peace that didn't make sense. But what you've seen so far is just a glimpse of His power. There is more, so much more, that you haven't yet comprehended. His defense is stronger than the lies that threaten to break your family apart. His hand is steady when your world feels like it's shaking. Even if the bank account is low, even if tension fills the air, even if your child slams the door in rebellion or your spouse speaks words that sting, He is still there, shielding you in ways you don't even recognize. God doesn't just protect your body, He protects your legacy. The battle for your family is not over because He is still fighting for it. So even if circumstances appear dire, continue to trust. Continue to believe. Because He brings clarity out of confusion and hope out of sorrow. And while you're waiting, while you're trusting, I want to challenge you to do something radical in this world of criticism and harshness. Cultivate gentleness. Yes, gentleness. In the way you speak, in the way you respond, in the way you look at the people who make you want to scream. I know how hard that is, especially when you're frustrated, when you've tried so hard and they just don't seem to get it. But harshness does not heal hearts. Condemnation does not lead to change. What transforms a soul is grace. And grace often speaks in whispers, not shouts. It listens more than it lectures. It offers a hand instead of a finger pointed in blame. Every person in your life, every child, every spouse, every sibling, is carrying something you may not fully see. They may not know how to express it. They may not even know how to ask for help. But your words have power. Speak life, not death. Let your home be filled with language that uplifts, even when it corrects. Do not let your love be silenced by your frustration. In the quiet moments, lay hands on them, literally or through intercessory prayer, and ask God to pour out healing, courage, and renewal into their souls. He responds to that kind of prayer. He delights in families who choose compassion over conflict. Because make no mistake, your home is sacred ground. Not perfect, not flawless, but sacred. Every argument you help de-escalate, every moment you choose love over bitterness, every prayer you whisper over your children at night, it all matters. Heaven records it. And slowly, surely, you will begin to see a shift. Peace where there was tension, gentleness where there was aggression, unity where there was division. You will witness hearts begin to soften, not because you forced them, but because you stayed faithful in grace. So today, don't let discouragement have the final say. You're not fighting alone. You're not hoping in vain. You are standing in the gap, and heaven is standing with you. The God who called you to pray is the God who will answer. The one who sees the hidden tears is also the one who holds the power to restore. Keep walking, keep interceding, keep believing, because even now His hand is moving. There comes a point in your journey with God when your prayers change. Not because you've stopped believing, but because you've begun to understand something deeper, that some battles are not just about rescue, but about refining. You stop asking, "Why am I going through this?" and begin asking, "Lord, what are you making me through this?" Because deep down, you begin to sense a shift. It's no longer just about the situation changing. It's about you changing. And here's the truth that very few speak about. God doesn't just use the victories. He uses the pain, the confusion, the brokenness, the seasons where nothing makes sense and your heart feels raw and exposed. These are not signs that God has forgotten you. These are signs that He's drawing you closer, that He's chiseling away at the false strength, the pride, the fear, the dependence on things that never truly satisfied you. Sometimes God allows the fire because He wants to purify, not punish. And it's in those moments when everything feels like it's falling apart that something sacred happens inside of you. You learn to lean, not on your wisdom, not on your strategies, but on Him completely. That's when you realize you've been chosen for this. Yes, chosen. Not because you're better than others, not because you're perfect. In fact, probably the opposite. You've been chosen because you were willing to stay when it would have been easier to walk away, willing to cry out to God when your heart was breaking, willing to carry others in prayer when you could barely carry yourself. God looked at your heart and saw not your perfection, but your surrender. And He said, "I can use that." And even as you fight for others, God wants to heal you too. Because maybe in the middle of this battle, you've forgotten that you're also His beloved child. Maybe you've spent so much time worrying about others that you haven't stopped to let Him take care of you. But He hasn't forgotten your wounds. He hasn't ignored your loneliness. He hasn't dismissed the dreams you buried because life got hard. He sees the nights you cried yourself to sleep. He knows the words that were never spoken but still broke your heart. And He's not rushing past your pain. He's inviting you into healing. Let Him touch those deep places. Let Him restore your sense of worth. You don't need to be the strongest person in every room. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to be human. And you're still holy in His eyes. Not because you have it all together, but because He's chosen you to be His. Let Him pour love into the parts of you that feel abandoned, ashamed, or unworthy. His love doesn't come with conditions. It comes with healing. And out of that healing, something new will rise. A transformed version of you, not hardened by pain, but softened by grace. Not broken by circumstances, but strengthened through surrender. That's the version of you your family needs. Not a perfect version, but a healed one, a whole one, One who knows that even if the storms rage, there is an anchor that holds. One who can look at chaos and say, "My God is still in control." So today, I want you to remember this. You were chosen for this moment. You were not randomly assigned your family, your challenges, or your season. Heaven trusted you to stand. You may feel tired, but you're still standing. You may feel unseen, but God sees. You may feel unworthy, but you are deeply loved. And even if the breakthrough hasn't come yet, the process is holy. The pain has purpose, and the promise still stands. Keep showing up, keep praying, keep healing. The story isn't over, and the author is still writing.